Hello, welcome back to my couch. This is becoming one of my new favorite places to film, I think just because it's so comfy. But this week I wanted to talk about the books that I read in high school. Specifically books that I read for my English classes. I was an English honors student all through high school. Big English nerd. Probably should have gone to school for English, but did not end up doing that, and that's fine with me for now. But we read a, I think, pretty extensive list of books throughout my high school time. I don't remember all of them, but I do remember a lot of them, so I compiled a list of the ones that I do remember. I just want to put it in there that these are not the only books we read in these classes. These are just the ones I remember. We did read other ones, and I just, for the life of me, can't remember what they are. Probably because of my, feels like permanent concussion brain. So, let's talk about it. I will go year by year, so freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and I will talk about the books that I read for my classes in that year. So, let's compare our high schools. Let's see if we read the same stuff. Doubt it. I feel like my high school read some of the weirdest stuff. But anyways, let's talk about my high school reads. My freshman year of high school, this was 2013, 2014. Yes, 2013 through 2014, that school year. Can't even believe how long ago that was. Holy cow. The first one that I can remember that I think of right away when I think of my freshman year English class is Romeo and Juliet, which was perfect. I love Shakespeare. I adore Shakespeare. I was so excited. I did not actually read it in the class because I had already read it like 10 times. I had loved Romeo and Juliet for years before that, and I always had a high reading level, so I was like right on board with Shakespeare very young. I never read the translated versions, I only read the Shakespearean versions. Just a little nerd fact about me. This one is so vivid in my brain because I used to have the entire opening monologue to Romeo and Juliet memorized, like the Shakespearean one. And I joked about that in this class, and I was like, oh, yeah, like, I don't even need to read it, I just know it. And my teacher was like, I do not believe that. So I sat there and recited the opening monologue in class. And I felt cool. I know I didn't look cool, but I felt cool. Can't do that anymore. My memory is not good enough for that anymore. But that was a very fun experience for me, stuck in my brain forever. The other books that we read, I remember only two others. I know that we read more than just those, but our English classes couldn't be all reading. We had to do other stuff. But the two most memorable besides that are Night by Elie Wiesel, and All Quiet on the Western Front. Loved both of these books. Absolutely loved them then. I love them now. We also watched, like, movies / documentaries that went along with the books that we read. Not fun things to watch, I will say. We were reading some really heavy stuff as 13 and 14-year-olds, which I feel like was appropriate in today's climate. not so much. I feel like 13 and 14-year-olds just are not as mature as my generation was at 13, 14. So they might not really comprehend it as well or as much. But, we all comprehended it. And, we were all very upset and sad about it. So, those will forever be stuck in my brain. Another really cool thing about my freshman year of high school and relating to my English classes and the books that we read, Ellie himself, the author of Night, came to my high school and did a, speech and met all of us, and it was such an amazing experience. I cannot believe that I, actually met him and spoke to him in person. It's crazy to even think about. It almost feels like a fever dream at this point, just because it's so oddly unbelievable that it happened, in my opinion. But yeah, I met him, and he was really funny and really cool, and I'm very honored that I got to meet him. But that's what my freshman year was like. After freshman year, got a little bit tougher, and we had to do summer reading. So, we're starting off my sophomore year with summer reading. My sophomore year, 2014-2015 school year, we started off strong in the summer. I had to read Life of Pi over the summer. I had never had homework to do over the summer before, so I was very unhappy. I was not about to drop an honors class, though. So, I did it. I pushed through. I was not a big fan of the book at the time. Did not really like it, probably because I was being forced to read it over the summer when I didn't want to be doing homework. I do like the book a lot more now, and the movie was really good. We got to watch the movie in class, which was kind of nice. But started off strong with Life of Pi in the summer. We came into the school year, right away, working on analyzing the book and having discussions about the book and all of this. Which was a little bit annoying, but it was a really good introduction to really analyzing a book. I analyze my books like crazy now when I read, and I think that will be the death of me as a reader, but I refuse to change. So, we read Life of Pi, and then we read plenty of other books, but I can only remember 2 others. There were only 2 others that really stuck in my brain, and those 2 are Macbeth, which is another Shakespeare. Absolutely loved it. It is in my top 5. Oh my gosh, there's something in my eye. It's in my top 5 Shakespeares. I loved it. I had a lot of fun with it. We had all these creative assignments that went along with Macbeth, and I had a lot of fun with those. I ended up earning a bunch of extra credit because we had to choose between this big list of assignments to do. We could do one of any of them, and I picked out 3, and I could not decide which one I wanted to do. So I did all 3, and I turned all 3 in, and I told my teacher, hey, I'm sorry that I'm turning in 3, but I could not pick one, so maybe just pick your favorite to put in the grade book. And he ended up grading all of them, really liking all of them, and giving me extra credit for it, which was awesome. I probably looked like a total dweeb doing that, but it was the first time I got to really do creative writing for the first time, and I had a lot of fun with it. It was the first sign for me that, creative writing could be a hobby for me, and I'm very thankful for that now. because I do still enjoy creative writing. Next that I remember reading that year is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Really good novella. I love John Steinbeck. I know there's a lot of people that do not. I personally really like the stories that he wrote. Of Mice and Men, just like, it hits harder for me now as an adult. I don't know if you can hear the heater. It is running like full blast right now for some reason. But it hits a lot harder for me now because of the population that I work with. I work with students with special needs, most of them having an autism or intellectual disability diagnosis. And reading the story again now as an adult is very difficult for me because I think of my students who I love dearly and who I am very protective of. So at the time, it made me sad. I understood what was happening. There was a lot of people in my class that did not. And so I think I took the book a little bit harder than some people. But it's still a book that I really love, so do with that as you will. I have no clue what else we read that year, but I know we read other stuff. My junior year is the one that I really remember, so let's jump into my junior year and talk about that list of books. So my junior year, oh wait, I take it back, I got my years wrong. I was a freshman in 2014 and 2015, sophomore in 2015 and 2016. I was a junior in 2016 and 2017. I don't know how I got that wrong. I'm terrible with years and all of that. But started off strong with a summer reading again for my junior year. I absolutely loved our summer reading book that year. We read East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I absolutely love that book. It is one of my all-time favorite books. A lot of my favorite books I read during my junior year of high school. I feel like that English honors class was like the most honors class I ever took. Started off strong with East of Eden. Absolutely love that book. I'm really big on like biblical retelling type things. The story of Cain and Abel is one of my all-time favorite biblical stories, and that book is kind of a rethinking of Cain and Abel. Absolutely loved it. I love everything about it. The characters are just so amazingly written. Nothing about it was awful for me. I adored it. I was one of the few. Not a lot of other people liked that book. And that was the reoccurring theme my junior year. I was one of the only ones that liked a majority of the books that we read. Next, The Great Gatsby. This one was the opposite. I was not a fan of this book, and everybody else really liked it. Probably because we got to watch the movie and Leonardo DiCaprio was in it. I just feel like we overanalyzed The Great Gatsby, and I didn't feel like it needed to be analyzed to that extent. So I think that's why I didn't really enjoy it all that much. If you really like The Great Gatsby, then sorry. Just not really for me. Next on that list is Catcher in the Rye. I know that so many people hate this book. I absolutely loved this book. The main character, Holden, was just such a complex but simple character, and I loved that. This was such a fun read for me. I thought it was hilarious. I thought that he was hilarious. Nobody else really liked it. Not a lot of people in my class actually read it. They just did the Sparks Notes, which I didn't even know existed. So I guess that'll tell you something. I just remembered another one from that year, To Kill a Mockingbird. My junior year, we read To Kill a Mockingbird as well. That one was a tough read, and we also watched the movie. That was a tough watch. So, a lot of very complex and tough reads that year. But the last one that I remember from my junior year, which is another one of my all-time favorite books. I was pretty much the only one in the class that liked this book. 1984 by George Orwell. Chef's Kiss. This book is so relevant right now in our global climate, at least in the US of A. But even then, I kind of saw a lot of the more complex themes and ideas in it that a lot of my classmates did not. I think that definitely played a big role in me enjoying it and them not liking it. But the people that I went to school with also weren't as advanced as I think they thought they were. Which, if you went to high school with me and you're seeing this, sorry. I also do not want to sound like I have main character syndrome. I was not a very loved person in high school. I was not popular. I was just kind of me doing my thing. So, I'm a big ol' nerd, and I'm fine with that. But we read some other books that year too. I just don't really remember them. So we're gonna finish strong with my senior year. Yay! So, my senior year of high school, we read not that many books, which is kind of surprising. You would think that, senior year, you're the oldest, you get to do big things. No. My senior year English teacher was absolutely obsessed with Hamlet, which, me too, girl. I love Hamlet. Hamlet is my favorite Shakespeare. But, we spent, 4 months on Hamlet. I love Hamlet. I can talk about Hamlet. But 4 months of Hamlet was a little much. I still liked it. Still enjoyed it. That's another one where I just kind of skimmed it because I had read it before. I already knew what happened. So, that was cool. That was fun. I only remember one other book that we read senior year. By senior year, I think I was just kind of clocked out. I was focusing more on other classes at the time. So I kind of put English on the back burner, which, I still did good in English, so, that was fine. But the only other book I remember is Tuesdays with Morrie, which, good book. It is a good book. I found it a little bit boring at the time. It's one of those books that I think that just, at that age, it wasn't really for me. Also at that period in my life, not really for me. Now that I've matured a little more, I have changed my opinions on it. It is a good book. I definitely recommend it. But as a senior in high school, not my favorite. But those are the only ones I remember. So, my 2017-2018 senior year ended with Tuesdays with Morrie. And I'm fine with that. But those were the books I read in high school for my English classes. I would love to hear what you read in high school for your English classes, because I feel like there's such a diverse list of books that people read during high school for their classes and, analyze and stuff. So I'm always interested to hear what other schools did. So please comment what your school read and tell me how you liked them. And if you read the same books as me, I want to know what you thought about them. So definitely put that stuff in the comments. If you liked it, you can come back next week for another one. But yeah, we're gonna end it here. So have a good Friday, have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next week. Happy reading, guys.